Hello, everyone. I've got my doTERRA robe on. It was my Christmas present from corporate. It's so warm and fuzzy and cuddly inside. How are you guys doing today? Where are you guys tuning in from? Awesome. So good to see some people on here that I see frequently. I love seeing your beautiful names. Seattle and Phoenix. Awesome. San Diego. I'm headed over to California tomorrow. We are going to Laguna Beach, and I am so excited. Never been to the beach in California, so I am, this Florida girl is really excited to see the Western Seas. So brief intro, my name is Jackie Ritz. I am a Blue Diamond in doTERRA. I'm also the founder of the Paleo Mama blog, and I wanted to pop on here and talk to you guys a little bit about MTHFR. I'm seeing a lot of you guys that are on here are also have an MTHFR mutation. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my things that I have learned with dealing with MTHFR and how I am properly detoxing right now. I'm doing a 30-day cleanse and how I'm detoxing safely. So for those of you who don't know what MTHFR is, it is a enzyme that our body has, and it helps to add a methyl to folic acid and make it usable in our body. The methyl or the MTHFR gene that we have in our body, we're talking like genetics, it produces this enzyme. And that is really necessary as well to also properly use vitamin B9. And so this enzyme that MTHFR produces is also important for converting your homocysteine into different things, okay? So we're talking about methylation process that our body goes through and all the enzymes that it produces. So the process of methylation also involves this enzyme from the MTHFR gene. And so those of you and me, and I'll talk about my mutation, that have this mutation, what is the biggest issue is they have a problem properly eliminating toxins from your body. And there's a lot of other problems that go along with MTHFR mutation. I had no idea what this was until I suffered my third miscarriage, and I started doing a lot of research on maybe why I'm having miscarriages, what's going on. I am eating amazing. Why am I miscarrying my babies? And so this led me to a blog article on MTHFR. And then what I did is I took my own health in my own hands. And so if you guys are, and what's really interesting is that it's actually very common now. 50% of Americans have some kind of MTHFR mutation. So there are lots of problems that originate from having an MTHFR mutation. Not only do you have problem detoxing, but some things that go along with that. Alcohol. Drinking alcohol or putting any kind of synthetics in your body, eating or taking folic acid, terrible for your body, because if you have the MTHFR mutation, you actually can't properly convert folic acid into anything. And so I attribute that to my miscarriages, is because, you know, at some point my babies weren't getting the proper folic acid that they needed. And so now, you know, we know taking a natural form of folate is the best thing for your body if you have MTHFR. And so as a doTERRA wellness advocate, I'm very happy to say that our lifelong vitality supplements do have a natural form of folate in it. So Another thing that can properly, that affects you if you have MTHFR is, like I said, childbearing is really hard. You have an increased risk of spina bifida, as well as any kind of those kind of developing issues that you might have if you are pregnant. But a lot of this has been found out that if you do take a natural form of folate while you're pregnant, that your body is able to properly distribute that folate to your unborn child. There are different types of MTHFR. Now, if you're sitting there and you're wondering if I have this or not, another really important thing is vaccinations. Just anything that you're putting in your body that you're going to have an issue with detoxing from. So personally for me, I don't receive any kind of vaccinations, and neither do my children at this point, because I don't know if they have MTHFR. I've been tested positive for 2 of the worst kinds, and so I'm what you are called compound heterozygous. So this means that one parent passed on the 677 mutation, which is one of the worst mutations, and then the other parent passed on the 1298 mutation, which is the second worst kind of mutation. So I have both compound heterozygous mutations. So knowledge is power, though. And so since I discovered this about 2 years ago, I took a $99 test. It's called 21andMe. So if you're sitting there wondering if you have this, or you want to figure out, you know, if this is something that's in your family history, you go to 21andme.com. It used to be $99 a few years ago. I think it still is. Order that test. Take it, do what it says, and then you need to find somebody to properly read it for you, and so that's usually your doctor. So, like I said, when this does happen, when you have MTHFR, folic acid can't be converted into a usable form, and it builds up in the body, which then raises your homocysteine levels. And if you look at, medical advice, homocysteine levels that are really elevated in your body puts you at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease. It puts you at a higher risk for cancer. It puts you at a higher risk for fetal development issues like we've talked about. And it can also attribute to autoimmune issues, mental issues, and a lot more. So it's really important. Like I'm a huge advocate of telling people to go to 21andMe and figure out if they have this or not, especially before vaccinating your children, because I think it's 99% of autistic children have been found to have the MTHFR mutation. And the reason is because they can't properly detox from those vaccinations after they receive them. Now, I'm not anti-vaccination. I believe that every parent has the right to make their own choice. But I also believe that, empowering you to know if you have something like MTHFR in your history, and if you do, so if you take a test and you do, then I recommend figuring out if your children have it before you vaccinate, and also if you're not going to test them, then stopping all vaccinations until you figure out the best thing to do for you and your children. So, like I said, 21andMe is the best place to go to get tested. And so here's why I'm actually talking about this. I'm doing a 30-day cleanse, and before, when I've done cleanses before, I have crashed and burned, and I've never known why. I also cannot drink a lot of alcohol. I can have a glass of wine, and then I'm feeling completely flustered and major headache, just really weird. I just don't feel good. So I personally I can't drink a lot, okay? And so if you do have MTHFR mutation, you want to do very gentle detox cleanses. And the reason is because that your body has a really hard time detoxing on its own already because you have MTHFR mutation. So you want to assist it in the easiest ways that you can. So one of the best is diet. Diet is the best way to, if you have MTHFR, you want to make sure that you stay away from anything with folic acid. And so this eliminates a lot of food, guys. If you look at the back of different foods, crackers, cookies, breads, they are all fortified with folic acid. And so I personally can't eat those. I can't, or if I do eat it, I feel it a lot. So, and I experience this weird sensation in my head. It's like a detox headache almost. It's just my body's inability to detox from or to convert that folic acid properly. So you want to make sure that your diet is really clean and that you are really focused on your gut health, especially when your body has an impaired ability to use certain nutrients. That's the main issue of MTHFR. When your body has a really main issue of not being able to convert, then it's important to focus on your gut health so that your body can absorb the nutrients that you are feeding it as effectively as possible. And that's why you want to make sure you choose the best nutrients that you can as possible. So I personally avoid any kind of vegetable oils, processed grains. I avoid any refined sugars as well. And I make sure that I support my gut with fermented foods. So sauerkraut and kimchi and kombucha, and lots of homemade bone broth as well. That's one of the best things for your health. This also helps you to avoid candida, which is also a huge problem with people who have MTHFR. Candida is a very common occurrence for people with MTHFR. So focusing on gut health and focusing on eating really, really good is very necessary for you. So you want to make sure as well, and in combination with eating, and so I am going to get to cleansing, and I'm going to get to Slim and Sassy because I am taking Slim and Sassy right now, and I've lost 18 pounds, so I will get to that in just a second. So you also want to make sure that you avoid any kind of environmental toxins as much as possible. So those with the MTHFR gene defect, they have a very impaired ability to eliminate and eliminate toxins. Hey, Maribel. So you want to make sure that you avoid any kind of environmental toxins. So that's plastics. It's chemicals in your beauty supply. It's moisturizers and skincare and sun protectant. It's cleaning products and scented candles. I know this sounds like a huge list, but it's actually really good to be empowered and discover this, because now I have a really good reason and excuse for not eating or putting these things on my body. And filtering your drinking water, and your shower water even, you might want to consider doing that as well. So that's another huge thing. The biggest thing is not taking anything with folic acid. So folic acid is a synthetic form of folate, and it cannot be used at all. It should not be used at all, because it's not effectively used by people who have the MTHFR defect. Which is very toxic to your body. So think about it. If you see something with folic acid and you have one form of MTHFR defect or the other, then you are harming your body greatly if you are taking, using, or putting anything in your mouth with folic acid. And I personally want to live long for my children and my grandkids. I don't want to have autoimmune issues and cancer, so I'm taking care of my body for my children. So you want to look for natural forms of folate that you can take instead of folic acid. You also want to make sure that you take lots of leafy greens, because this is a natural form of folate. I make sure that I have at least 1 to 2 servings of spinach, kale, Swiss chard, some kind of really good leafy green every single day in my diet. You also want to avoid any processed foods. So again, this is another reason to avoid processed foods. If we needed another one, this is another really good reason to avoid it, because processed foods have synthetic folic acid in it. You also want to avoid heavy metals. So heavy metals in your diet, heavy metals in your environment, they're harder to remove from your body if you have a gene defect. So be very careful to avoid those. And if you do feel like you do have some kind of heavy metal buildup, Cilantro Essential Oil is excellent for heavy metal detox. And I've used cilantro last month because I presumed that I had some kind of heavy metal defect or buildup in my body. And then also just help your body out. So if you have MTHFR defect, you have a very impaired ability to eliminate toxins. So you need to support your body in this process. You want to make sure that you take detox baths. So I take a detox bath at least 3 times a week. And so this involves putting in Epsom salt, which is a huge magnesium booster to my body. You want to make sure that you're using baking soda. If your water's not filtered, you want to add about a cup of baking soda in your bathtub and sit in the hot tub for at least 15 minutes. That gives your body a very natural way to detox. You also might want to consider sauna. So if you have a sauna at a gym or a home sauna, that is an excellent way for your body to detox. Now you can also do different things like dry brushing your skin, drinking enough water, and you can do some strange things like mud shampoo, foot soaks, detoxing your armpits. All that is excellent ways to gently help your body out if you have the MTHFR gene mutation. So, whew, deep breath. I just have so much information in my head about this stuff because I've learned it over the last 2 years. I just can't spit it out fast enough for you guys. So if I'm going too fast, just tell me to slow down. And if you do have questions, I will answer them at the end. Cilantro I use internally. So I take 2 drops in a capsule 2 times a day to give my body a gentle heavy metal detox. You can also take a cilantro bath. So in your detox bath with Epsom salt, you can throw in about 7 to 10 drops of essential oil in your detox bath. So that's if you have children who you suspect has heavy metal buildup, then you want to make sure that you give them a detox bath with cilantro. So here's another thing, guys. You need to avoid taking folic acid blocking or depleting drugs. And so not only is this your multivitamin that might have folic acid in it, but it could be birth control pills as well. And so birth control pills, you want to make sure that you get off of. They're not really good for your body anyway. And just, like I said, the biggest thing is just to eat as clean as possible and avoid any of those environmental toxins as well as you can, and putting them into your body. So let's talk about the 30-day cleanse. So my team right now, my doTERRA team, is doing a 30-day cleanse. I personally have lost 18 pounds. I just stepped on the scale this morning since about the middle of October. And so for me to lose weight, it's a huge deal because I have a really hard time losing weight. And I can eat as perfect as possible and I'll still gain weight. So I have to be super careful about what I eat, and I've found the best diet for my body has been low carb. So I eat very low carb, and I make sure that I drink a ton of water when you're detoxing, especially if you have MTHFR. So you want to make sure that you're drinking tons of water. You want to make sure that you are eating as clean as possible as well, but very, very important is to take your supplements. So I take Lifelong Vitality. It has the natural form of folate in it that my body can break down. So I take the Lifelong Vitality and make sure that I'm taking that religiously during any kind of cleanse that I'm doing. I also am very careful about GX Assist. So GX Assist can really be hard on people's bodies already even if you're normal and don't have MTHFR. If you have MTHFR, anything that you do that changes up its routine, like adding in GX Assist, which does have oregano and some really hard oils, you want to be very, very careful and cautious. So personally for me, I don't take what the recommended dose is. So if it tells me 2 pills a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, I will take 1 pill and I will evaluate how I feel the next day. And if I feel like junk, I might even skip a day in between my GX Assist. Okay, that's because those with MTHFR, it's really hard for your body to properly detox. So you have to be very careful whenever you switch things up in your diet, especially if you are cleansing. If you feel nauseous or throwing up, if you feel super sick, then you want to make sure that you stop what you're doing, and it might not be the right time for you to do it. So I firmly believe that if you feel nauseous or sick, or you have like flu-like symptoms, is normal if you are detoxing from carbs and sugar. So I don't kind of include that in it, but vomiting is not normal. As well, you want to make sure that you are taking a digestive enzyme. And like we talked at the beginning, gut health is super, super important if you have MTHFR mutation, because your body has a really hard time already distributing the nutrients and enzymes properly to the proper points in your body. So when you take a digestive enzyme, this actually helps your body. It's a whole food enzyme that helps your body break down those foods and boost it by giving it back those enzymes that are in the Terrazyme. So all the time, not even just during a cleanse, but you need to be taking your digestive enzymes all the time. All right. Now, Slim and Sassy is one that I had to figure out. I cannot stand the taste of it. It makes me nauseous smelling it. So I actually was very hesitant to add this into my body because I was scared because of how it smelled and how it tasted. So I found that using the soft gels, these are the soft gels, these are the best way for me to take the Slim and Sassy, because I don't smell it, I don't taste it unless I burp it up a little bit, which is natural, which is why I make sure that I drink a ton of water when I take a soft gel. Now the recommended dose is like 3 to 5 of these a day. All right, and each of these soft gels have 5 drops of the Slim and Sassy blend in it. Now for me, that is way too much, and I know my body. So I know that there is no way that I can take 5 of these a day. 5 times 5 is 25 drops of essential oil internally, and I can't do that because of how my body is with MTHFR, detoxing, any kind of change up in routine. So I take 1 to 2 of these a day, and I take it when I know I'm usually have a craving. So for me, that's around 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, I will take one with a big glass of water or some tea. And I'll also take one, a lot of the times I start getting hungry for some reason after dinner. So I want to munch or eat chocolate, or I want to, binge on something salty after dinner at around 8 o'clock. So I will take a Slim and Sassy soft gel at that time too. So I only take about 2 max a day. So if you have MTHFR, or you have people on your team who do, that's really good advice to give them, is if they should probably only take about 2 max soft gels a day. So that's pretty much it. I just want to share with you guys just some of the things I've learned with cleansing and MTHFR, and that you can do it safely, and you can do it effectively, and you can lose weight. And I personally have been doing ketogenic, which has been very, very good. It's actually ketogenic is a really good diet it's not to be confused with, the diabetes disease. So it's actually really good for women. It's good for people with autoimmune issues. It's good for cancer patients. Ketogenic is high fat, low carb. So you're eating a high fat diet, really good high fats like coconut oil and olive oil, butter and ghee and duck fat and bacon fat. So really good healthy fats that your body needs, and you're eating low carb in combination with that. And so it's been very effective for me in eating that way, because it already causes me to eliminate the processed foods that I personally shouldn't be eating anyway, because I do have the MTHFR mutation. So, and if you guys need any more information on that, I do have a blog post on the ketogenic diet. Do you do, I do it long term. I've been doing it for 3 months. You can do it long term. You just have to monitor your body. The biggest downfall that I've seen with people and why they quit ketogenic is because they gain weight. And the reason why they gain weight is because they're eating high fat, but they're cheating and they're eating sugar and carbs. So when you combine high fat with high carb and high sugar, that's a recipe for weight gain. So I would only recommend you doing ketogenic if you're very serious about what you're going to eat and you're not going to cheat and you know, throw in those high carb, high sugar items on your high fat menu. Does anybody else have any other questions? I'll take a little Q&A time right now. I know I saw some pop up while I was talking. Anybody else? It doesn't seem like you can get enough nutrients from ketogenic because you do. If you're eating high fat, moderate protein, and low carb, then you want to make sure that you are eating really good low carb vegetables. So personally for me, I don't eat squashes right now. I don't eat pumpkin. I don't eat potatoes right now. All of my vegetables are coming from leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower. I'll do a handful of my kids' raspberries every now and then, but not often. So you just have to make sure that you are eating. Yes, I do have very big salads. I usually eat a salad a day. I'll just put on, and I don't count carbs. I just monitor and look at what I'm eating and eyeball it. I'll just do olive oil and vinegar for my salads because that's usually where all the carbs kind of get thrown into your salads. If you want to begin ketogenic, like I said, you can go, if you Google the Paleo Mama, M-A-M-A, then you want to make sure, if you Google the Paleo Mama ketogenic, you will pull up my detailed beginner's guide for starting the ketogenic diet. So, I didn't see that question. I'm so sorry. Does anybody else have any questions? Oh, okay. The best oils to use for detox bath. Really, I use whatever oils I feel my body needs at the time. I don't feel like I have a recipe or anything like that. I do have an article as well on my blog on how to make a detox bath. So if you are feeling a little under the weather, then you can add in some On Guard or you can add in some Breathe. You just need to make sure that you add a medium to it. So an oily fat medium or a milk with it. So I personally recommend my tub, I fill it up and I use about 10 drops. And I use 2 tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil as well in my tub. So what that does is it causes the essential oil to bind to the coconut oil and it doesn't sit on the surface of the tub where it can kind of get undiluted really powerfully on my skin in a sensitive area. So you can also add milk. I love adding coconut milk or my cow's raw milk to the tub, which is really nourishing to your skin as well. And it helps kind of bind the essential oils to the milk. You can use olive oil as well, a couple tablespoons, mix it around with your essential oil and then dump it in and you should be good to go. You can also do Zendocrine in your bathtub, cilantro if you are looking to really detox. Those are excellent oils for detoxing. I am detoxing because it's that time of the year for me. I try to detox at least 3 times a year. 4 is ideal, but that never really happens. And that's why I'm detoxing. I also am detoxing because, or cleansing because I've plateaued until I lost that 1 pound. So I've been 17 pounds down for a couple weeks now. So I'm hoping that that breaks me through that plateau that I've kind of been on. I am doing keto in Cancun as well. I know I don't know if that was a question, but ketogenic is my lifestyle now. It's completely easy for me to eat ketogenic even on vacation. So I do plan on continuing to eat ketogenic in Cancun this month. So I think that's it. I hope that is helpful to all of you guys. You are more than welcome to, once again, share it with your team and anyone that you might know who has MTHFR. You struggle to get enough calories in. Yes, that means you need to up your fats. So adding healthy fats to your vegetables, sauteing your eggs in coconut oil, adding good fats to your salads like olive oil, you eating avocados on your salads. That means that you probably aren't getting enough healthy fats in your diet. So that is what I would recommend for you. So thank you guys for all the hearts. I'm really close to 1 million hearts, by the way. I looked at it today and I think it was 920,000 away from 1 million hearts. And so I appreciate all the love. I've never had 1 million anything. So I appreciate all the love, all the hearts. And I look forward to meeting some of you guys, hopefully at Leadership in Cancun. And I'm seeing you guys in 2017 at some point. Once again, I am doing a network marketing training February 28th, I think. It's the day before Leadership in Orlando, Florida, for anybody building a doTERRA business who wants to come is more than welcome to come. It's in my Periscope profile to register. It is faith-based network marketing, so you will absolutely love it. It's grounded in my faith and Neil Anderson's faith, so I would love for you guys to join. I don't know what the 4-day wonder diet is. I have never heard of that, so I'm not too sure. I can't respond to that. But thanks so much, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and block you because you're weird. And have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next scope. Bye, everyone.